From the 915 to H-Town, from the Panhandle Plains to the Valley, and everywhere in between. This is the 50/50 podcast, powered by National Scouting Report. Join me, Hector Cano, as we cover the Texas high school club and college soccer landscape, along with an inside look at the college soccer recruiting scene. The 50/50 podcast is a platform about the people and for the people who are dedicated to the beautiful game. Here we go. It's another edition of the 50/50 podcast, powered by our proud partners, NSR Now. NSR Now, they are the world's leading authority on all athletic recruiting and the number one promoter of high school student athletes to U.S. colleges, U.S. coaches and colleges around the country. You can get more information on what they're about on social media, on Twitter X, I guess we can call it, right? At NSR Now, as well as on Instagram at NSR_now. And you can also get more information on what they're about on their website at nsr-inc.com. My next guest, he is, we're very excited to have him here. He is a man that I guess we could really say around the state doesn't need much of an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He is the president of TASCO, as well as the head women's soccer coach of Katy, Tompkins. He is Coach Jarrett Shipman. Coach, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you, Hector?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to have you here, digging your setup there, your background. I saw the Liverpool scarf, and I immediately knew I'm gonna love this guy. This guy. So, all right, awesome. So, tell us what's going on, Coach.
Man, we're just getting started. School year's kicking off. We're starting to get everything ready for the TASCO clinic. Putting everything together, and really excited about this year and this season.
Yeah. Awesome. And in my previous conversations, obviously I was there last year, got to experience it for myself behind the scenes with the podcast. And then just all the conversations I've had, obviously with Coach Jimmy Kruger. It's such a massive thing with so many moving parts. So can't commend you guys enough on that. So president of TASCO, right? What, in terms of your role, right? What does that mean for the everyday coach around the state, maybe, or some people that may not be as familiar with the TASCO organization? What is your role as president? What does that look like?
So my role as president actually started when I first got on the board, right? So to serve on TASCO was something that I always wanted to do, help give back to the people around the state. And so I ran as the regional director, and I was the rookie. And so that was a 3-year term. I learned a lot. It was great networking, and I got to give back to the game that has given so much to me. And so after that, the conversation was had about me possibly running for vice president, which is a 3-year term as well. You go vice president, president, past president. But now I'm in my second year of that role. And as president, my responsibilities are, being president of TASCO and putting on this clinic in the fall, which is one of our biggest things. I've learned so much from it, being a coach, and it just kind of kicks off the season. So we really focus on the clinic. As the president, you're kind of in charge of help put that together. And then, we segue into, the state tournament and the all-star game. And it's just kind of overseeing that everything runs smoothly, all these great things that the people before us at TASCO have put together. And I'm honored to be able to kind of help put my stamp on it and kind of help people continue to grow this game in the state of Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we have so many new coaches entering the profession, right? Entering, maybe first time soccer coaches at the high school level, or maybe they're new to the sport and soccer is their second sport, right? But in general, when those people, or maybe even parents, right, they hear TASCO, they hear the name TASCO, what should they think? Tell us who is TASCO, or what is TASCO?
Like my goal, and I think this is what happens a lot when you hear TASCO, is it's an organization that's trying to give back to high school soccer, trying to promote high school soccer. There are so many fantastic coaches in this great state that do so much for these kids, and it's about soccer, but it's about these student athletes too, and about them growing and growing up through the game. And so hopefully when they hear TASCO, they hear, an organization that's giving back to the community of Texas high school soccer.
Right. Well said. Well said. So membership, right? Why does membership matter, and what does that look like?
So the membership is important because, we've done a really good job, I feel like, as TASCO, an organization, of trying to get stuff to our members, giving them options to, continue to grow as a coach, like with our clinic and the people we're bringing in. It helps get their kids recognition when we do our awards at the end of the year, all state, stuff like that, academic awards for all state, getting to be recognized at the all-star game for their seniors. We just want to make sure that we're helping grow the coaches that need help. And that could be a first-year coach, that could be a 30-year coach. Every time I personally have been to the clinic, there's something I've learned. We've been bringing in some fantastic speakers, and they have some great sessions. And if you're not learning, you're not growing as a coach. And I think these things that we've set up are helping that. And at the end of the day, too, we want to recognize our kids, and I think we help promote those kids and help them continue to grow as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, last year was our first year in attendance as the podcast, right? And we were fortunate enough, blessed enough to be invited by you all as your guests, and it was our first year running with that, and it was an eye opener in certain regards for me, for the podcast team, but also. But it was just, I love the fact that, in connecting with Coach Kruger, he kind of had the foresight, and in speaking with you all, with the board, about wanting to bring the podcast. So that was something that was new last year. That was a change, right? What, before we get to the actual convention itself, right? But any changes or any new pieces regarding the convention this year, similar to like what I just mentioned from last year? Is there anything new that you can mention to us this year?
Yeah, there's a couple things that we've kind of tweaked. We've actually expanded the convention a little bit. We're going to have a few more speakers and 2 more field sessions. So we're trying to bring more content. We're going to have Stephen Mackey come in and do kind of a keynote at the end of the sessions on Friday. And then we're going to have some small school socials, because there's a lot of talk in Texas of expanding high school soccer past the 4A level. Right. And so we're going to try to bring these 3As and 2As in and get them involved as well. And, just continue to help kind of grow it and just give more and more to these coaches to take in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well said. What was such a great, there at in Houston, the THSCA coaches, the coaching school, right? The Texas High School Coaches Association convention back in the summer, back in July. The soccer social that was hosted there, it was a great hit. It was a great time. So I think those opportunities always help tremendously.
Absolutely. Having that social at the stadium where the Dynamo and the Dash play was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great setting, great backdrop for that event. And, like you said, the socials are great because it's just camaraderie, and it's getting to talk to other coaches, and it's the brotherhood, and, literally learning from each other and just getting to see each other. We work very hard, and it's kind of nice to get to talk to other coaches in kind of a more relaxed setting, as opposed from across the field or in the field.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about the TASCO convention experience. What should coaches expect?
They should expect to have some quality speakers and quality floor sessions happening. But at the same time, it's great for networking. It's great getting to know your fellow coaches. It's really good for just growing as a coach. The sessions that we have this year, I think, are spot on. They go from anywhere from a first-year coach to a 30-year coach. Everything that we are trying to do, we're trying to be able to help every coach, no matter what stage in their career they are. Going to the convention is something that I think every young coach should do, because they kind of get to see how the inner workings of everything are happening. I can't say enough how much it helped me as a young coach, being able to go down to the convention and just kind of get to know people and see how things are done and have a different point of view on what's happening.
Yeah. What struck me last year was I was surprised, and I thought I got there early, and I was surprised how many how many coaches were already there. But then the other one, really the big eye opener, was how many coaches were, we were like what, a day and a half in, and how many coaches were still showing up, right? We're still registering, what have you. So is there a goal or a projected goal or a thought? Have you guys kind of had some sort of metric, some sort of measuring stick that you guys are aiming for as far as coaches in attendance this year? Any thought on that?
Yeah, there's always been thought on that. We're always trying to grow it.
Right.
I think 1,000's the magic number. We've been
Mhm.
pretty close the last couple of years, just a couple, 20, 30 shy. So
Right.
if we can break the 1,000 mark, that would be huge for us. You think about the number of schools in Texas getting coaches down there, like that's a big number.
Yeah.
And if we can make that happen, I would be ecstatic.
Right. And I know a lot of people there's been different, and I know you've heard it. There's been different schools of thought, lots of opinions on, hey, why in Galveston, right? Why all the way down there? Can we do something a little bit more central? I've had that conversation with multiple people. But to see it firsthand logistically, it served as a better understanding for me as to what, because the Moody Garden staff, they do a tremendous job of taking care of us down there. And so it was a big eye opener from that perspective. Not to say that other places can't, but I can see just in terms of just the warmer weather, given the time of year, and just the setup, the layout, it does make it pretty convenient.
Yeah, I mean, Moody Gardens has been wonderful to us. They take care of us. Anything we ask, having just the field session floor set up like it does. There's not a lot of other convention places that let us go in there and kick balls, 80, 90 miles an hour. And they
Right.
laid carpet last year. It's fantastic. Anything we ask for, they're accommodating. And we would like to have it more centrally, and we've explored those options. It's just, as an organization, financially making sense and doing right by our members, Galveston is the one that makes sense right now.
Yeah.
It's not saying that we're going to be there forever, but it's something that is working really well, in my opinion, for most coaches around the state.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned Stephen Mackey. What other speakers, clinicians that you can share are lined up for this year?
So we're still working on a few of them, but we got some big names coming in. We have Adam Birchall from Arsenal. He's the U17 Arsenal head coach, the U18 assistant coach. He's going to do a couple floor sessions and do a session in a speaking session as well.
Mhm.
It's going to be focusing on starting the attack, finishing the attack. He's going to be fantastic. We have a couple guys from USC. We have the new director of education, Rob Harringen, coming in from
Mhm.
USC, United Soccer Coaches.
Right.
And he's also going to bring along another great one, Jason Pendleton. They're going to be doing a special topics course, and it's going to be focused on defending in the mid, high, and low block.
Yeah.
So you can pay your $25 and you get a diploma from USC,
Nice.
showing that you can defend in the high, mid, and low block.
Right.
So that'll be a really good one to watch. We have Joan Bertomu coming in from RGV Toros. He's their strength and conditioning guy. So he's going to be great. He's going to do a field session, and then he's going to do a classroom session as well. Piggyback on that, I'm really excited. We have Fred Dekranian coming in from the International Soccer School. He's awesome to get to talk to. He's going to talk about positionless soccer, which I think is something where the game's kind of heading. It's the idea of, you're not necessarily playing a forward, you're playing a shape, right? Replace, etc. He'll be awesome. I mean, the list just keeps going on. We have some very quality high school speakers coming in. We have Caitlin Eidson coming in. She's a Seven Lakes coach over here. She's got her B license. She's going to do a fantastic job. I'm just really excited. I mean, I could list, 10 more people. We have a couple in the works that I think are going to make it even bigger. So I'm
Right.
dynamite lineup.
Right. So, and I imagine as far as all your, social media channels, website, that schedule, where are we at as far as timeline, as far as schedule announcement of, the final schedule being locked in, speakers? Because I know I know registration's already open, but when will that be released?
So registration's open. We are working on getting that final schedule out. We have the schedule set. We're just working on finalizing some topics that people are coming out with, and we don't want to put anything out there without topics completely nailed down, because
Right.
all of our sessions too are going to be put in sports session planner. And so they'll be able to, up on our screen while they're presenting on the floor, you'll be able to see their actual drill happening. And so we want to make sure that we're able to do that as well, synced up with topics. our ideal is to have it locked down in the next couple weeks, and get that schedule out there. It'll be a digital program, so you'll be able to get online, look at it, and we'll have everything ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I saw that last year. That was a pretty sweet setup with the sports session planner while it was live. So great stuff. Got a greetings shout out here from Coach Rafa Castorena, my fellow co-host of Inside Texas High School Soccer. So shout out to Rafa. Coach, so we this year, right? I mean, so there's obviously still things in the works. What had you from the convention perspective, whether it's something new, something different, just a name, what has you personally maybe the most excited about this year that's maybe going to make this year a little different?
Um, we sat down and talked. Coach Kruger is an amazing asset for TASCO. And we sat down and talked as a board afterwards and talked about how can we improve it. And we came up with a couple of things, just like little things to make it more spectator friendly, get more out of it. But being able to get Adam Birchall from Arsenal across the pond over here in a reasonable, like, it's going to be amazing. I'm super stoked. This guy has gone up through the whole academy ranks with Arsenal. He started with the little guys, and now he's doing the kids that we coach in high school's age right now with a Premier League team. Very cool. And his record as a professional is amazing as well. I think him coming over and doing 3 sessions is huge. Getting a little bit of the Premier League over here is awesome. I'm pretty excited about that one.
Yeah. We won't hold it against them that it's Arsenal, right? We won't hold it against them. So no, absolutely excited to have Adam on here. That a tremendous opportunity for coaches around the state of Texas. And, just speaks to the volumes more of what TASCO is trying to do for Texas high school soccer. So speaking of Texas high school soccer, Coach, just kind of wanted to ask you general thoughts on the current state of our game, Texas high school soccer here across the state.
I think it's growing fast. I mentioned earlier that they're talking about trying to get 3A soccer in. I think that's huge for our game. It's come such a long ways, and I feel the UIL has done a good job of listening to what we need, and it's continuing to grow. I think we're getting to be like a huge number of kids are becoming more and more involved in the high school soccer scene. I love to see that, sometimes at school soccer is mentioned first over maybe football, we are in Texas. I get it, but bleed soccer through and through. The game is expanding rapidly. The amount of coaching and how good some of these coaches are in this state is awesome to see. You're getting high quality coaches. You're getting high quality players. Texas high school soccer, you walk out there on a Friday night and you see a quality product in every time we step out there. So I just love it. I think the game is continuing to grow. So
yeah. What has maybe since the pandemic, we'll say, right? What have you noticed as the biggest change in our game as far as here in Texas, across the state?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing, like getting people out of the pandemic, getting people in the seats again, that atmosphere of high school soccer is so cool when you get a big crowd out to the game. It's a little colder. You got everybody in the stands and they're cheering. And, coming out of the pandemic, we didn't really have as many people coming out to the games. And I think people are starting to kind of come back out. Everybody's doing a really good job of promoting it. I think especially too, a lot of the schools now have the VOs and the huddles and there's live streaming. But I still think even though that great tool that we had during the pandemic, we got to get people out to the field and see it, support these athletes. I mean, there's nothing cooler than scoring a goal or beating a team and your whole community's in the stands going crazy. I mean, that's such a cool feeling.
Yeah. I mean, live stream is great. It's convenient, but it doesn't replace, right?
Yeah.
No, but I completely agree. So next one, you look into your crystal ball here, right? Maybe we talked about the state of the game currently, maybe some of the changes you've seen since the pandemic. Where do you see, can you identify a couple of big just changes, hope for the better in terms of our game? Where do you see our game going in maybe the next 5 years?
Yeah. So we've been talking with a couple people, a couple of, people that are putting some stuff together, and just the high school game itself is getting so much more technical. There's so much more going on into it. We're getting more and more college recruiting coming from the high school level, and we love club soccer. It's amazing. We're starting to work together a lot better. I think the biggest step we could take is high school soccer and club soccer, working together hand in hand to do what's best for these kids. And we're taking that step, and we always want to take the next step and make that even better. Because club soccer and high school soccer coexist together, and it could be a wonderful thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing that happen.
Well said. Absolutely well said. So, we start transitioning here a little bit, Coach. Your role as the head women's soccer coach there at Katy Tompkins, you finished second in 196A last year. Very tough, very tough district, and advanced to the regional quarterfinal where you bowed out to eventual regional finalists in Stratford.
Yes.
What, in terms of last season, right? When you look back on it going forward into this season, how much did last year's experience and maybe the players you have returning, how is that helping springboard you into this season?
Oh man, we're super excited this year. Last year we started 4 freshmen in all year, and they're growing.
Wow.
We're looking at it. We're super young. We graduated a couple really key players that were seniors, but these younger kids are really stepping up. We've had some pretty good runs here at Tompkins in the past. State finalists in 17 and 19, and then 20 we were nationally ranked again, and the pandemic shut us down. So we just kind of continue to grind as a program, and these girls always step up. They work hard. I mean, we're in the weight room just busting our butt right now.
Nice.
I'm so proud of how they responded last year, because we've been knocked out by Stratford the last 2 years in a row, and they're a great program, a great team, and I love battling with them.
Hey, you said that, I didn't. Okay, you said that.
No, they're a great team. Coach Walters is on the TASCO board with us. He's a great guy. But
great program.
Absolutely, and we love playing them. And we just, our goal is to get to a regional tournament and see what happens. The ball's got to bounce your way sometimes, but if we put in the hard work now, we're excited to see what happens.
Right. How would you describe making those runs into the playoffs in your region, right? And excuse me, in Region 3, how would you describe I guess, if you could describe the personality of the soccer played in your region, if maybe, and maybe you haven't really kind of clearly been able to establish or point to a personality trait or characteristics, but how would you describe it in your region?
Well, I think for us specifically in our district, starting out, it's iron sharpens iron. Like we bang heads. Seven Lakes great program. This whole district, top to bottom, it's a fight every night, and I think it prepares us for the playoff run. There, when I first started at Tompkins 9 years ago, there was a good run where it was Katy versus Katy teams in the regional final, and we always attested that to how tough our district was and how tough that we make each other going into playoffs. But there's so many other great quality teams in this region too. Ridge Point's been to the state tournament 2 years in a row. They're a fantastic team. I mentioned Stratford earlier, and you're always going to have a great fight in the playoffs. And the characteristic of this region, I think, is we're tough and gritty. We're going to play to the final whistle, and we're going to make you earn it. And there's been some great games year in, year out, and you just kind of sit back sometimes and you're in awe of how much these girls actually give out there on the field. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to witness. And, even when you lose in the playoffs, you look across at the other side and, they're elated, they're happy, but you also recognize how hard they worked at the same time. And it's just a cool experience. These student athletes work so hard, and just getting to see them rewarded for their efforts, it's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Great stuff. So you look forward to 2024, right? With your group, with your squad.
Yeah.
What do you feel? What will be different about this year? And there's kind of a two-parter for you. What will be different in your opinion about this year? And what maybe has you the most excited about this year's team?
Just growth. I mentioned how young we were. We have quite a few underclassmen still. I'm excited because they're completely bought in. They're working hard. I mean, the amount of work that they are putting in to make sure that we continue to grow as a program and continue to get better. It's just awesome to see. There's not a lot of motivation having to come from our coaching staff right now because they're motivating each other. There's a lot of responsibility between them to make sure that they're working hard. And I'm just excited to see where it takes them, because it's kind of fun when a team, kind of leads intrinsically and they get after it and they're just excited for what the future comes. So.
Right. Well said. Great stuff. So Coach, this marks the end of our build up segment 1. We're going to get ready. Gonna pick on you. Just kidding. We'll have our counterattack segment. But before we do, let us tell you about a couple of our good friends. First, starting off with our good friends at Gipper. So Gipper is the way schools, athletic departments, ADs, and coaches create world-class marketing content. Join over 2,500 coaches, ADs, and programs that use Gipper to create high-quality visual branded graphics for your program. The best part, anyone can do it in seconds on any device without needing any design experience. If you do have significant design experience, you are the power user that they like to refer to, then you'll really love this because you have so many more options at your disposal. So, and the best part is you get to, just for being a listener of the 50/50 podcast, you're going to save money right away. You can receive, you can receive 10% off any first-time Gipper purchase. Simply visit gipper.com/partner/5050 to learn more. Again, that's gipper.com/partner/5050. And our other good friends are good friends at Global Scarves, my buddy Kyle Wall and company. They've been doing a tremendous work in support of our game in the state of Texas. I know they'll be one of the vendors in attendance, right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
At the TASCO convention in November. So Global Scarves, right? Global Scarves is a top provider of custom knitted scarves, beanies, and other fan merchandise in the United States. All merch is fully custom with free design services and free shipping on all orders. You can contact them at info@globalscarves.com to get any free designs, quotes built up for your school, club, or maybe personal ones for maybe your group of supporters that you want to do for. So again, you can contact them at info@globalscarves.com and mention the podcast, the 50/50 podcast, or use the code hashtag 50/50pod, and they'll be sure to take care of you. So great stuff. We mentioned that was one of the things we didn't really get a chance to talk about, Coach, was in terms of vendors, right? Just the sheer volume of vendors. What is the number of vendors that you know of, or at least right now, that maybe will be in attendance? Is there any new vendors, something that has you excited?
Yeah, we have quite a few vendors coming in. Global Scarves is one of them. I'm really excited about we partnered with Building Champions. They're going to be a really cool one. That's a recruiting service. We're excited about that. Of course, we have Adrenaline coming in. And American Challenge is another great one. They've always been a really great partner with us at TASCO. That's where they get the cool soccer balls and stuff when they get in as part of your package.
Right.
We've been working with Beyond Pulse, and they're really great for analyzing analytics from your data from your kids running around on the field. VO, of course, we talked about that as well.
Right.
And our main sponsor, we get all these great goals out there, Quick Goal, with all their equipment and stuff. They are really great to us. And Hummel, we're in Hummel right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I dig the Hummel gear, man. I love that, the Hummel shirts too. Yeah. Yeah, I still tell the story. I actually got to meet him, Coach Purcell. I met him at the high school coaches the convention, right? The coaching school back in July. But I still tell the story about last year when he won the goals from Quick Goal, right? And and my man drove right in a bus all the way down there to transport. I found that story was hilarious. I thought they were joking with me when they first told me that story, but I was like, nope. So great stuff.
I saw him load up a shelter one year on a yellow dog. They took it apart and put it in the bus in the back and drove it up there. That was pretty cool.
How did they? You'll have to tell me more offline, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. So all right, Coach. So time for our counterattack segment. So this is where we get to ask you some random off the wall questions, both soccer and non-soccer related. And like we said, just kind of, hey, just do your best, and we're pretty sure that you can do it on a cold rainy night in Stoke, Coach. All right, so here we go. First one. Any game day as a coach now, all right? All of these apply as a coach, not as a player.
Cool.
Any game day superstitions or rituals?
Oh man, we actually have two that me and my assistant coach do every time. We always got to get our pregame lift in, but then when we get to
Nice.
playoffs, we have to make a half court shot on the basketball court before we go out, and we
Wow.
do that before every playoff game. Sometimes it happens quick, sometimes it takes a while.
I was gonna say, what's the longest that's taken?
There was one time before a regional final that I didn't think we were going to leave the gym. It took a while. I bet we were in there 25, 35 minutes trying to make a half court shot.
Wow. Wow.
And
Hey,
then,
I like the pregame lift though. That's the first I've heard of that one. I like that. I like that.
yeah, it's just kind of, sets the mood. You feel good, out
Yeah.
there for your rock and roll. So,
Right. Great stuff. All right. Next one. Strangest thing in your refrigerator right now.
oh man. I have a ton of salsas in my refrigerator. I really like hot sauce and salsa. And I don't know
Yeah.
that that's strange, but I think the amount in the refrigerator is probably strange. There's probably
Yeah.
10, 12 different bottles of hot sauce salsa. So
What is it with you soccer coaches and Katy? I'm pretty sure Jimmy said the same thing.
really,
I'll have to go back, but I'm pretty sure Jimmy said something along those lines.
wow.
But yeah, it was definitely something uh, hot sauce related or something. But yeah, I have to go back to that. So
We like our spicy food.
yeah, I guess so. I got to go out there. All
Yeah.
right, next one. Greatest sports movie.
Oh man. That one put me on the spot. I have a couple movies that I just love.
Mhm.
It's hard to pick one, man. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah, I have three. I have three that are like my tied for number one. I have
Yeah.
three. Yeah.
Man, I would like to say one of the greatest sports movies. I don't want to. I don't want to say it and then like 5 minutes later be like, no, that's not what I meant. For some reason, one that keeps coming to my mind is, man, geez, let's go with Rudy's a great one. I think that one's good, but greatest sports movie.
We'll come back to that one. How about that?
Let me think for a second.
All right. We'll come back to that one. All right. If not, excuse me, if not a coach and educator, you would have been what?
So if I wasn't a coach or an educator, I started out doing architecture as my major at Texas Tech, and I really liked the idea of building buildings, building things like that. So I'd probably end up being architecture. I would say really enjoyed that.
Nice.
So
right. Yeah, definitely pays a little bit more than coaching and teaching.
Yes, it probably does, but I love what I do. So
absolutely. Well said. Superpower question number one: invisible or mind reader?
Oh, I would take mind reader. You could really make sure you could accomplish a lot if you knew what people were thinking.
Yeah. I think as a coach, it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So next one, Jarrett Shipman is appointed the soccer czar in America, right? You're in charge of everything, right? Everything. Okay. First decision, first change you make tomorrow. What is it?
First change I make in soccer. I would honestly, at the high school level, I feel like it's a free avenue to get kids involved, and I would put more money into the high school level soccer and kind of help grow high school as high school soccer as a sport across the United States, and tap into that because you have the facilities already built and you have the coaches. So let's continue to try to grow that.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Next one. Who would play you in a movie?
Oh man, I would like to say Robert Downey Jr., but
doing the life story of Jarrett Shipman, right? It doesn't have to look like you. Can maybe be personality or just a favorite actor. Who would play you?
Robert Downey Jr. is definitely more handsome than me, but I'll probably have to say Will Ferrell.
You can't go wrong there, right?
No.
As long as it's supposed to be a comedy, I guess, right?
For sure.
So. All right. Next one. Current music playlist.
Oh, man. I've been real heavy into some Tyler Childers lately.
Okay.
Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of concerts. That's something that me and my wife actually do a lot. We probably go to 12, 15 concerts a year, listen to about everything. So I love music. So
there you go. All right. That's 12 to 15 a year. Wow.
Yeah. We go to a lot.
I think I've been to 15 in my lifetime. But yeah, awesome. All right, current, and you're gonna kind of put yourself on the spot here a little bit. I'm not sure how much of a podcast listener you are, but current podcast playlist, if any.
I listen to a few. I like picking through Joe Rogan a lot. I like
Yeah.
listening to some of his guys. He does a
Yeah.
great job. I mean, he's the original podcaster pretty much, you know.
Right. Yeah.
He's fantastic. Always listen to 50/50. I mean,
Right.
it's
All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
so yeah, no, I would say I like yeah, probably mostly Joe Rogan. That's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. He's the king when it comes to podcasting. Right.
Yeah.
Definitely the king. So how
Talking
would you?
Points is another good one. Sorry.
I'm sorry. No. Go ahead. Say that again.
Talking Points is another good one. I listen
Yeah.
to that one too. So I
Yeah.
teach government. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. For sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to start one for. It's called. We're actually using it in English class right now. So serial podcast,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So I don't know if you're familiar with that one. So
Yeah.
kind of true crime stuff that's going to be tied into an actual writing project, which is going to be. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Next one. How would your players describe you?
I think they would describe me as somebody that immensely cares, right? I want what's best for them. I want to make sure that they are taken care of, and I want to do right by them. I tell them all the time, and I think they would agree with me, is I'm going to tell them the truth. They may not want to hear what I'm going to tell them, but I'm not going to lie
Mhm.
to them, and I'm going to be very honest and straight up. So I think that's something that I would assume that they would say about me, or at least I hope so, right?
Right, right. What what do you wish? Something you wish, some advice you would have been given when you were first entering coaching. What do you wish you would have been told?
Man, I think everybody's kind of on the same page here. When you're in your 20s, you think you know everything, right?
Yeah.
Played soccer your whole life, and you get there and you think you know everything. And I wish somebody would have told me, because I know now it's like, ask for help. If you don't understand something, especially in teaching coaching side, like ask for help.
Right.
When I first started coaching, I was 23 years old, and then you think about it, some of those kids are 18 or 19. You're not much older than them, right?
Mhm.
So just ask for help when you don't know something, and continue to grow. Rely on those older coaches, because they know what they're doing. They've been around doing it. So
What would you say? How long? Because that's a great point.
yeah.
About how long into your coaching career were you when you finally realized, okay, I need to ask for help? Like how far into it were you?
So I think, as an assistant coach, I was assistant coach, and I had a great mentor in Josh O'Deer. He's at Cy Creek right now. And
Mhm.
he kind of taught me how to run a program. When I first started assistant coach, I thought I knew it, and he would do things and I would be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I would ask him, and he just kind of helped me learn how to build a program, because there's so much more to running a high school program than just coaching soccer, right? Especially
Okay.
on the girls side, it's managing personalities, and it's making sure that we're in there having fun. But at the same time, it's like you got to run your program, and you got to make sure that you are growing as a program every year.
Mhm.
And so I think I would say probably 4 or 5 years into my career, I was like, man, these people know more than me. They've done this, so I just need to listen to them and sit back and take everything in I can. And still to this day, I'm 38 years old now, and I'm always looking to other people to see what they do and ask for help. And, I can always do something better, because I said it earlier, if you're not growing as a coach, what are we doing? Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a firm believer of that. If the moment it, the moment I lose the drive to want to get better and grow and learn as a coach, that's I think that's my sign to hang them up. Right. Me personally. So
For sure.
uh, yeah. All right. Superpower question number 2: the ability to speak every language or talk to animals.
Oh, I would love to talk to animals, man. I love animals. I have 2 dogs. They're amazing.
What kind? What do you got? What kind?
So I got about a 90-pound golden doodle, and he's just a ball
Okay.
of energy and
Wow.
fluff. He's the young guy. He's only like 3, and he's fun. He's got the best personality. And then we have
Mhm.
our adopted little mutt that's about 14. She's terrier
Oh,
lab, about 20 pounds, and
yeah.
she's awesome too. She's got on up there, but I love my dogs. They're
Yeah.
amazing. Pearl and Max.
Sounds like the odd couple there that you got.
Yeah.
So, well, so talk to animals. That's what we're going with?
Yeah. That's what we're going with.
Gotcha. Sweet. All right. Next one. If you could go back in time, right, with what you've learned, kind of a little bit of what you were discussing right now with coaching, right, what you've learned in coaching,
Yeah.
if you could go back and maybe now coach you back in high school with what you've learned, right, how would you coach you?
So what, I had great high school coaches. And I always thought in high school, like we all did, it's like, oh, I'm great, I'm awesome. And going back, I would tell myself, like, put in more work, right? You know, be up there early, lifting more, getting your touches in every day. You're not always gonna be able to do this. So put in the work while you can and continue to just enjoy it, right? And I would tell myself too, like, even enjoy the losses, right? I remember being in high school and club in high school, you lose a game and it was like the end of the world sometimes. And it's like, but if I always tell my kids specifically too, it's like, if you put everything you had in the game out there, there's nothing to be upset about, right? You can be
Right.
upset because you lost, but as long as you gave every effort, walk off that field with your head held high. So
Yeah,
definitely.
no doubt. Yeah. Great words for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Final one. Funniest, you'll love this one. Funniest TASCO convention moment that you can share.
Oh,
That you can share.
that
Funniest TASCO convention moment.
I'm going to share this one. I don't know that it's been talked about a lot, but a couple years ago at TASCO, there was nobody out there on the field, and a certain someone was out there shooting some shots, and another coach joined, and we decided to start hitting volleys. Ball comes up, coach hits the volley, it goes straight into the chandelier up in the sky and just rains glass. And I'm just like, wasn't me.
How did the staff handle that one after that happened?
I went and got a broom and I said, I'm sorry. And we cleaned it up. TASCO, Moody Gardens was great. They're like, it happens. And they cleaned it up. I can still pick that chandelier out at the convention though. You'll
have to show me. I want to see it right now that you told me the story. So great stuff.
I'll show
you. Awesome. Well, Coach, this has been tremendous. We've absolutely loved having you. Thank you for your time. And, for all your efforts, what you're doing for Texas high school soccer, not only as a coach, there at Katy Tompkins, we wish you and your girls the absolute best of luck this upcoming season, but also as president of TASCO. That's a large undertaking, and you definitely have to be a servant leader because, again, that's not something you do for the money, right?
Yeah.
So cannot thank you enough for being here, joining us, giving us all this great information. Before we let you go, got a couple of questions for you. Give us where can we get more information on the TASCO convention, dates, registration, all that stuff?
For sure. So if you go to tasco-soccer.com, it's got everything up there. You can follow us on the socials, Twitter or X. It's just TASCO Soccer. I'm pretty sure I'm going to double check that because I don't want to tell you wrong. But it's just TASCO Soccer on X, and then Facebook as well. And I think it's
the same on Instagram too, right?
Instagram too. Yeah.
At TASCO Soccer. Yeah.
And then, if you go to our website, you can get a lot of information through our sports use. So we have sports use specific for each region and a general sign up there. You can also, if you're a member on those sports use, you can put any games that you need picked up or open tournaments and stuff like that too as well. So tasco-soccer.com.
Okay. And that's where they can get their regional sports U account information as well.
Correct. All that stuff's in when you go to TASCO Soccer, it's under the coaching corner. So
okay, gotcha. Couple of questions. So the dates, tell us. I know I was gonna wait till towards the end to ask you the dates for the convention. Where is it located, and just how late registration is now open, but I guess what are the deadlines for registration?
So the dates are November 16th to 18th. It's the weekend right before Thanksgiving. We start on that Friday, or we start that Thursday night, all day Friday, and then Saturday we have sessions as well. It's at Moody Gardens down in Galveston. It's a great time. For registration, we'll take walk-up registration when you get there too. But it would be a lot smoother if you went ahead and registered online. That way, when you get there, we have everything ready for you. We have some great grab bags for you when you get there. So if you pre-register and get there early, you're going to get some good swag. So November 16th to 18th.
Great stuff. Awesome. And again, thank you, Coach. We really appreciate you. And before we let you go, as is customary in our stoppage time, kind of share our final thoughts, shout outs, thank yous, whatever's on your mind as it relates to the game. We kind of like to end on that note. And since you are a guest, the floor is yours.
Awesome. I just want to thank you for having me on. I've been a longtime listener to the podcast. I'm honored to be here. I got involved with TASCO because I just want to help the community of soccer. If anybody ever has any questions or anything or any ideas, we're always open to listen and hear. We always just want to make it better. I want to thank, of course, my wife and family for allowing me to take the time away to do this. Funny story is my wife decided to run for PTA president of the elementary at the same time. So we're both president of the PTA and TASCO right now. So it's pretty busy, but it's good stuff. No complaints. But thank you to the TASCO board too. They do an amazing job. Without them, we couldn't do what we do. They're fantastic. I want to thank our sponsors and everybody that's going to be there to present, because we can't do what we do without them. And lastly, I want to thank all the coaches in Texas high school soccer, because without y'all and what you do for the kids, there would be no reason to have TASCO. It's all about these kids and, having them grow as athletes, the adversity they overcome. And, every coach in this state, I can almost tell you without a doubt, is there for the kids. And that's the big thing that I love about what I do. So.
Right. Awesome. Great way to wrap it up there, Coach. Thank you. And my final thoughts, it's kind of a two-parter. The first and foremost is, again, thank you. Thank you for having us, for the invite once again. Thank you to yourself, Coach Kruger, for inviting us back for year 2. We're excited. Going to bring you great coverage of the convention, even better coverage than last year. Last year was we were getting our feet wet, figuring things out. And we're looking forward to this year. Going to be bringing a lot of great new coverage to you all. And hopefully we can get some clinicians, some speakers as well that we can interact with as well. Always, schedule permitting. We understand how that goes as well. But we're excited. We're excited about that. We're excited to bring you more great in-depth coverage of the convention. And then the other piece too is if you haven't already registered, you need to be there. It's, if you've been to coaching school, right? The THSCA, this is what I love about TASCO is it's sports specific. And because of that, it's very intimate, right? It's very intimate, but yet it's by no means is it small, right? You're talking about 1,000 coaches. Name, how many other states could you say do that for one sport, right? That's what makes kind of Texas so unique and special as well. So it's a great time, great environment. And so if you're an assistant coach or new coach, to the soccer world, you just want to learn more and you want to grow, and more than anything else, network and meet people in our sport, you definitely need to be there. So that's going to do it. That's going to do it. So again, for Coach Jarrett Shipman, president of TASCO, and the head women's soccer coach, Katy Tompkins, I am your host again, Coach Hector Cano. And for our listeners, our supporters, where you can find us. Maybe you're coming across us for the first time. You can get more information on Twitter X at 50_50 pod, as well as on Instagram at 50_50 podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. Make sure you please go there, sign up, subscribe, sign up for the notifications for all our live episodes. You'll get notified. You can find us there at just simply search the 50_50 podcast. So, and you can also find us on all major podcast platforms, wherever you listen to your podcasts. So, all right, for Coach Shipman, I'm Coach Cano. And until the next time, for our listeners, our supporters, you're the reason why we do it. Thank you. And you know what to do. Until the next time, keep downloading and keep listening. You've been listening to the 50/50 podcast, powered by National Scouting Report. Help us continue to grow by liking, rating, and subscribing on all major podcast platforms. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at 50_50 pod, on Instagram at 50_50 podcast, as well as on YouTube at the 50_50 podcast. Until the next time, keep downloading and keep listening.